Welcome everybody. As always, if I could just get a quick audio visual check, please. And as soon as I know I'm not talking to myself and you guys can see my charts clearly, we'll get into it. Bitcoin actually having a nice refreshing bounce. That's probably exciting for a lot of people. I'll give credit where credit is due. This is the most bullish we've looked in a while. Smashed. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, seeing some green in the markets. Good to go. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. All right, guys. Well, first of all, thank you very much for being here with me. I appreciate that you guys seem to appreciate my opinion on what things are doing in the markets here. So, guys, Bitcoin's actually seeing a bit of a refreshing bounce this morning, but can the bulls hang on and actually rally from here? That's something that I want to look at. So let's dive in and take a look right now, shall we? First things first, before I get started on looking at the more zoomed out timeframes, you guys, I just want to be clear here. I am in a bit of a short position. I know I'm talking about a bounce. I have recently taken a short here. And guys, for those of you who are in the Telegram channel, I did share this right before going live, basically. Just to bring this up here, I had mentioned, we had this potential swing fail / Stuber fib type of setup, also lining up with the 4-hour 786. And yeah, basically ended up averaging into a position at around 84,700. Hit the first take profit there, hit the second take profit at the 214 fib there. So, and then we're getting a classic bounce off that level. It's so often that we do see with these Stuber fib setups that we get some sort of a reaction at the 214. And you guys, the reasoning for that is basically the 214 is approximately the opposite 786. So if I'm willing to generally start shorting around a 786, I am also going to be looking at closing part of that position at the opposite 786, right? So yes, it is, the 786 is a little bit higher, but I always front run my targets a little bit. And yeah, so that's basically where the 214 comes from there. And yeah, guys, keeping the people in my Telegram channel up to date with that. So that is, if that is something that interests you, that you just want my general thoughts on the market, some of my trade setup theories and ideas, some of my updates, all that sort of stuff. Do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code or follow the steps in the description down below. And yeah, looking forward to having you there. Other than that, guys, where is Bitcoin right now? I mean, I wasn't all too surprised to see some sort of a bounce. Yes, you guys know that I've been very bearish lately, but I'm also open to the idea of grabbing some liquidity a little bit higher up. I was talking about the liquidations up at these levels, up around 99K, you guys. There's a lot of high leverage liquidations up at that level. So I really wouldn't be too surprised to see some sort of a bounce up to those levels. My big concern with this bounce and why I'm not sure we're going to get to those levels, if this bearish trend is going to continue, you guys, we are basically right at my 4-hour Stuber fib. I'm just going to delete this on the micro trend here. And by micro trend, I just mean that, really zooming into this downtrend that we've had over the last few days, or last week rather. This was our low. This is our lower low. So this is our most recent lower high right here. So that's where I've pulled this bearish fib from, and just basically chasing the price to wherever it ends up bottoming. And so far that is the bottom from our current lower high structure here. So guys, we have basically just tested the 786 like I was talking about in that post. Not saying we have to get rejected here, but it's at least worth considering that, hey, as far as this downtrend goes, we are now at resistance levels. So I don't know how much faith I really have in the bulls at this point. If they are able to smash through that 87.1K approximately, that's BloFin prices, depending what exchange you're on, that may vary slightly, but this structure right here, right around 87.1K, I really want to see a candle close above that level to even get somewhat bullish. A wick above and closing below, I would think there's a good chance that we are getting some sort of a swing fail, and shorting the retest may be a good opportunity. But as it stands, you guys know that with my infamous Stuber fib strategy, I usually like starting to look for those resistance levels with the proper structure around the 786, 886. And that is basically where we've got to here. So that's kind of my concern right now. That's kind of why I was starting to look for shorts and weakness on the lower time frames finally after letting that bounce do its thing. And we're just going to have to see what happens from here. I have locked in half of my position because we hit my first two take profits, the 0.5 fib and the 214 fib. I even front run those a little bit, but each were hit. So at this point, I just leave a break even stop on the rest of my position. And if we absolutely end up nuking and this was just a lower high, then I'm in a great position. If we end up bouncing from here, I took profits anyways, and the rest can get stopped at break even. I really don't care. It's a profitable position at this point either way. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I want to look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart, you guys, looks absolutely terrifying. There's so many things wrong with this chart, and I know I've been vocal about this for all of 2024 at this, or 2025, sorry. I've been talking about this since 2024, late December. I was mentioning while we were trading down here to watch for this double top bearish divergence with the RSI. Very specific, and I know, yes, I bring this up every stream, but like I say, I think this is going to be the first signal that makes me go somewhat bullish on the actual macro trend. I want to see my divergence get broken, just like it did back here, just like it did when our last bull market kicked off. That's a very bullish sign to me that it's an early warning sign. Things may be reversing, just like it was up here for me starting to flip bearish at all-time highs. People thought I was crazy. People were insanely bullish at all-time highs, FOMOing into everything. And I totally get it. The trend was to the upside. But why would we end up breaking the same resistance with significantly less strength, right? So my back was up against a wall there. I was very much favoring the bearish side since that, and have been ever since. Once something like that changes, even the 4 hour, like I said, if the 4 hour can break that lower high resistance, especially if it can reclaim that 89K support resist flip area. Just look at this, guys. I mean, you guys know that this was kind of the range. This was the low. This was the high. That was the macro range I was looking at on the 4 hour. The fact that this support had such perfect touch points, and then when we broke it, it flipped into perfect resistance. I mean, that was such a bearish signal to me. If we can reclaim that, then I think it's absolutely possible. Like I said, we go up towards that 99K because there is all this liquidity built up here just for late shorts, and it would make sense to punish the people who are shorting late in this trend. It absolutely makes sense, right? So we're going to have to see if that ends. If we end up breaking that level, there is more resistance very close. Here's the thing, guys. The fact that Bitcoin broke such bearish structure here, it just doesn't look good to me. Until I see the RSI, like I said, break that divergence, I am going to be very bearish. And even at this point, mark my words, if we get some sort of a bounce either here, or even we go lower and then get a very strong recovery, something like this, you are going to see people and their FOMO going absolutely nuts. And in my opinion, unless this RSI divergence actually breaks, it would be the perfect opportunity to actually end the market cycle. And in that case, I would be looking at something like if the RSI was to get another, just a bigger divergence with the same type of level, something like right there, just overextended RSI divergence again, something like that, just like what we got at the top of last cycle. That does not have to happen again. I want to be very clear about that. But there's really no doubt in my mind that this type of RSI divergence is going to point out when the market cycle ends. Basically, the exact same chart that we have right now, I think will end this market cycle. I'm not saying this one has ended the market cycle. Honestly, this could just be a big correction. We might carry on for the next year to the upside. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not going to be one of those people who promises you the moon. I'm also not going to promise you a bear market. At this point, all I know is structure is bearish, and I'm going to be treating it that way on the longer time frame. The shorter time frames, I mean, depending on your strategies and stuff, obviously, yeah, there's people making great longs, just like I've been making some great shorts. All that matters. Yes, we could analyze things totally different. We could be looking at things the exact opposite. But at the end of the day, when it comes to trading, all that matters is how you're going to execute your positions, right? The execution is all that matters. It doesn't matter. We could trade the exact opposite direction at the same time. We can both profit. We could both lose. It all depends where you're taking profits, where you're adjusting stop losses, and that sort of thing. So me personally, you guys, especially those of you in my Telegram chat, those of you who have been tuning into my live streams and that sort of stuff, you guys know where I stand and why I've been so bearish recently. But I'm happy to have those things invalidated. That's the thing, you guys. People who were bullish here, they never really had a plan B. So they're very upset by this price action and looking for any sort of hopium, just grasping at straws, just trying to find any bullish news or fundamentals to think that it's worth hanging on to, kind of a thing. And just as it looks, it's just a structure thing. I mean, I was warning about this way before tariffs or, any sort of thing like that. I was basically saying that I thought January 20th was going to be a top for a fairly serious market correction. And that was literally the top so far. The Trump inauguration just seemed like such an obvious sell the news event, while everyone was just posting so much hopium across social media and that sort of stuff. It was painfully obvious that we were going to top, at least for a short-term correction. And to get that bearish divergence on the RSI, it lined up so perfectly, you guys. So in my opinion, that had nothing to do with any fundamentals or anything. Other than a little bit of a sell the news event could be the fundamental, but honestly, it was in the charts already. So that's why I like trading the charts. Speaking of Trump, let's look at the 4-hour. I did notice it had a nice little pump today. But same thing as Bitcoin. Basically, we're just getting into resistance, right? So even on the 4-hour with Trump, we had this low. We have a lower low. That would be our lower high. And so that's where I ended up pulling this fib from. And you can see, yeah, we wicked slightly above the 886, but candle bodies are struggling right in that pocket right now. And we're struggling to stay above that 786. Yeah, we lost a higher low on the 1 minute back here. And then, yeah, just starting a little bit of a downtrend. Hard to say what it's going to do, right? But yeah, so far struggling with the 786 there. So again, just something that looks a little bit weak. Just starting to see some weakness in the charts after, a nice pump to the upside over the start of the day. But, I have no problems letting the bulls do their thing and, pumping the price for a while, but it's when we get those structure breaks and start hitting the higher time frame resistance that we've created on this massive downtrend. That's where I'm kind of starting to look at shorting again, right? And that's exactly why I ended up bringing up that trade setup earlier here. So guys, again, I shared this basically just before starting the stream, shared my updates right before starting the stream. If you want to be a part of this Telegram channel, it's free, but you need to sign up to BloFin using my link, scan the QR code, follow the steps in the description down below. Yeah, we've been ready for all this price action, you guys, right from where this dump really started, even before BitMEX or Bybit had got hacked. We were just ready for this price action, basically ready for that swing fail pattern to play out. Even when we ended up kind of coming back to that 89K SR flip area, I was very vocal that, yeah, still favoring the shorts. It was looking weak, kind of a thing. And then we absolutely capitulated. The weekly chart, we were well aware of exactly why why things were looking a little bit bearish and why we should at least approach with caution. All just basic chart structure. I have no inside info. I'm not looking at fundamentals. I'm not reading articles, nothing like that. What I'm mostly doing is playing my favorite strategy, the Stuber fibs. And you guys, I've actually posted this to my Twitter page. So I pinned it to the top, so it's easy to find. Public video with Financial Summit. It's a basic video of the Stuber fib strategy. And then from there, for members of the Telegram, you actually have this additional video, which goes more in depth into the structure of when I'm looking at range recognition, how I'm pulling my fibs, that sort of thing. That's in there free for you guys who are in my Telegram channel as well. So do yourselves a favor, check out those videos. They should be pinned in the Telegram group as well. So yeah, hope to see you all in there. Right now, yeah, Bitcoin's still looking weak. Let's bring up some indicators. This is just the 1 minute here, but let's bring up the Trendmaster indicator. The fact we got two sell signals like that back to back at a Stuber fib like that, just a sign of weakness or a sign of strength from the bears, I guess, if you want to say that. So yeah, we have this ugly downtrend right now. Yeah, what are we doing? Like I said, the 4 hour, yeah, kind of getting rejected at that 786. What's the 4 hour indicator saying actually first? Let's look at the Trendmaster indicator. I was warning for a long time about that lower sell signal we got, and that we were just struggling with that indicator resistance for a few days there, and then absolutely nuked off a cliff there. So we also have that resistance lining up with my lower high resistance here. So that's just a little additional confluence there from a bearish stance. Volume delta, I mean, the point of control on the volume is actually up way higher. So again, just that could also be showing that, hey, you know what, maybe the price will be drawn to that level with all those liquidations and that sort of thing. But as it stands, one resistance level at a time. Same with the liquidations bands. They're way up there. Liquidation levels way up there. So, you know, there is reasons why I think the bulls could actually make a stance right now and climb quite a bit higher. It's just that I don't want to give them too much credit until we at least break the downtrend, the immediate downtrend, right? Not even the macro one. Like, even if we bounce from here, we broke such serious structure here that I would be looking for a new Stuber fib basically from our highs, because we now have bearish structure on the longer time frame. That purple box up here from about 103 up to 100 and we'll call it 107K. I think there's very serious resistance there. And then obviously all-time highs as well, around 110K. So Bitcoin has a lot of work to do to prove that it wants to be in an uptrend. I really think the first thing that I would notice that would get me a full moon boy again would be this RSI divergence breaking. You know, even on the Wave Master, getting some sort of a bullish reversal. We had this bearish one here, which was also making me lean bearish with these high frequency trading bots. They're pushing the downside still and have been for about 4 weeks now. Yeah, there's a lot of things favoring the bears right now on the longer time frame. So that's where I understand there's going to be bounces, you guys. I'm not saying YOLO short into the breakout just for the sake of it because we're bearish. We can be bearish and still get some sort of a retest significantly higher, especially after we had such volatility to the downside, right? So just a few things to be a little bit cautious of. I am going to start catching up on the chat a little bit. Does the CME need to hit 77 to be fully closed? I haven't actually looked at the CME for a while, and honestly, gaps are okay. Like, yes, generally they fill, but they don't have to. I know they usually do, but I remember it was a cycle or two ago when the CME gap was like $25 away or something, and people refused to accept that it didn't fill and we couldn't go higher. So, you know, those things can happen. It doesn't have to fill. Just like when I'm looking for my Stuber fib targets and stuff, just like, you know, things can reverse a little bit early no matter what the setup, right? David Wilson, good to see you here. LMFG, let's go. Gary, thank you for being here with us. Good to see you. Adrian, I know what your opinions are on the market. Funding showing some massive shorts coming in currently. Interesting. I actually wanted to see what the long short ratio was doing. I meant to refresh this. Let me just get a fresh reading because there was still so many longs in the market. See, like, I guess when it comes to that sort of same thing, same with like the fear and greed, right? These are all things to just kind of validate whether it makes sense a move could continue or reverse or whatever. So we're getting kind of conflicting stories by some of those metrics. Like, the market's obviously been in extreme fear for a little while now, but you know, the market keeps trying to FOMO long the shit out of this dip or the dips that keep on dipping. You know, there's still obviously a lot of FOMO in here that retail is not willing to accept that the market cycle could possibly even be over. Again, I don't necessarily think this market cycle's over, but I am open to the idea because the structure is currently bearish. I don't know if it's the top or not. I'm not going to pretend to know. but a lot of people have such FOMO and they are not willing to miss this dip. And I think, when the market's 73% long on the retail side of things, that's still a lot of fuel to potentially push the downside a little further. But I do definitely see more people starting to agree with me that things are bearish. And there is a lot of those, thumbnails and titles across larger accounts now admitting that things might be bearish and stuff like that. So yes, at some point we're going to get a relief rally. So it's just important to be careful. Like if you miss the start of this move and you're looking more at the scalp type of setups, like the one that I just took before the stream here, just be sure to be paying yourself, protecting yourself, updating stop losses, that kind of stuff. Because like I said, whenever I enter a position, I basically treat the first half of it like a scalp. And then when I have no risk, then I hope for that home run trade. If you're just swinging for home runs, you're going to get wrecked. The market loves to trend sideways a lot more than it likes to aggressively break out in a direction. I know it doesn't always feel that way on, days like recently. Obviously very strong trending, but think about how long we're actually trending sideways before that move. How many people told me I was wrong, that we were not bearish because the move hadn't played out yet because they only wanted to wait 3 candles, right? Remember what kind of time frame that we're analyzing and what we're trading and how long things are going to take to play out, right? So people didn't even want to wait for that. But now we finally have that volatility because we had an actual breakout, right? So now the market, both directions, is volatile as hell. It's great. Adrian, just a bear. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I am still very much bearish. I've been saying it in the Telegram channel. I've been saying it in all my live streams. Like, I am just unable to be bullish right now. And actually, that's not true. On a fundamental level, I am bullish. And that's the thing, right? I'm so bullish on crypto that I am willing to accept that we could see significantly lower prices, and that would not upset me. Whereas a lot of people who were pretending to be bullish, that was them hoping it was bullish. And that's why they've disappeared off social media and stuff, because they're upset that the price went down. I find it exciting because I'm actually bullish and I don't question the choices of investing in it and that sort of thing, right? Ooh, the S&P, I actually did want to check that. Because that's the thing, guys. Like, people were blaming all sorts of things for the crypto crash, whether it was an exchange hack or Trump saying something or whatever. We were seeing so many things being blamed for Bitcoin dumping, but the S&P was basically doing the same thing, right? It's not like those things were actually causing the whole economy to collapse. Ooh, look where we bounced. I was clearly watching something. I'm curious about that. All right. Well, some sort of a diagonal trend line I was watching, and it looks like we're finding support off of. But yeah, same thing, guys. Like, this was a big move to the downside for the SPX. That was a big bearish move. And so it's not just crypto. It's not that there's anything wrong with Bitcoin or anything like that. It's just that all the markets were just ready to pull back, right? We lost a very immediate structure break. This little bit of structure we formed here, we lost that little order block there. And as soon as that happened, we flipped it into resistance and just absolutely dumped. The S&P did the same thing Bitcoin did, basically. Yeah, exactly, Gary. This is a broader market dip. Bitcoin is dumping because of it. I agree 100% with that. The markets across the board were just at a place where it was time for a pullback. I don't think this had anything to do with fundamentals. I think, tariffs and stuff like that obviously gives that nudge that it needs to, speed things up and push past that structure. But that structure is already in the charts, ready to happen. Thomas, I wouldn't say I'm actually bullish. I'm just open to the idea of a bullish scenario happening. We still have resistance we have to break. We still have a downtrend until we reclaim 87K. And even if we do that, we have to see what happens, because when we break structure, you guys know what I love looking for, right? I still want to see that pullback. And that's when everyone would get extremely bearish, was when we got that pullback. But that might actually be a bullish sign, because that would just be a classic super fib setup if that happened, right? If we actually end up breaking this structure here, that lower high on the immediate trend here, then I assume we would get some sort of a pullback, test into my super fib pocket, hopefully. And that's where more so where I'd be looking for long. So at this point, I would be willing to consider the possibility that the downtrend is broken, but I wouldn't be looking at aping into a long on a breakout. You guys know that I more so like to have those breaks and then the pullbacks. I would consider scalping shorter time frames to the upside after this, just because there is that warning there. But I would be very much playing just like I am with my late shorts recently, updating stop losses quickly, taking profits quickly. And if it runs, great. And if not, we might be doing something like this, which could still be bullish, right? So just a few things to watch out for there. But I know it's weird to see me have a bullish thumbnail, because honestly, this is the most strength that I've seen for a while from the bulls. But just understand, we are still just getting to resistance levels now. Now that everybody's getting FOMO again, it's right as we're trading into resistance again. And that is another fact that I would agree with. If the money printer does go burr, just like last time a certain party was in office, and certain events happened globally, the money printer turned on aggressively, and that pushed the parabolic bull market. If that happens, that's basically the only way I see this bull market going nuts from here. I personally think even if we set new highs, I don't think it's going to go parabolic. I think we are very near an all-time high. We're starting to see so many people like just buying so many fancy things, upgrading everything in their lives. We were talking about this in a different stream earlier today. There's just a lot of top signals starting to come in across the board, whether that's in the charts and just how people are behaving. But again, if the money printer gets going like crazy, then I'm open to the idea of parabolic bull action from there. But I just, right now, I don't see it, though, is all. We'll see what the charts do. Like I said, if we break this RSI divergence on the weekly chart, I will have a very different tune. That will be my early, it won't be the total. Obviously, it won't be the bottom, but when that trend line ends up getting broken eventually, that's where I will start to at least consider things could be bullish again. But if we get something like that, another bearish divergence with a double top or a super fib low or high or anything like that, if we get something like that, rather than the RSI just going back into overbought territory, at that point, I'm going to think it's the market cycle's over. I don't feel that way yet, but if we get that certain setup on a broader time frame, a bigger time frame, I will at that point be looking at it as so. But honestly, guys, that would be most likely months away from now. Bought a used Honda. Hey, fair enough. Honda's a great vehicle. Bought dirt bikes. Oh man, that's totally worth it. See, that's my thing is I honestly I don't like, well, not that I don't like. I don't need fancy cars and stuff, but I need toys. I need kite surfing equipment, paddleboarding equipment. I would actually, dirt bikes is something I was talking about with someone else earlier today. So yeah, the toys. Mm. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, that's sweet. I would love to get like an electric dirt bike. It would be so good around here. Um, Bitcoin's starting to look a little weak. I wouldn't be surprised if we do go a little higher, though. Honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if the rest of my position gets stopped out. But like I said, I don't really care. The first two targets were hit. It's a nice stress-free position to be into. And obviously, I still have that quarter of a short from 101,626. That quarter of a position is still running too from a few weeks back when I took that hedge when we had the that initial Stuber fib bounce. It's got a couple short positions on the go right now. How are you all feeling on the market, by the way? Are you guys, do you think the bottom's in? Do you think we are going significantly lower? I still think we go lower, but again, a bounce first just to grab some of that liquidity, create some FOMO, create some liquidity to the downside again. That would not surprise me. Not BC. I live a couple provinces over, but when I say kite surfing, I mean on a lot of lakes and also in the winter in the fields and stuff. I do snowboarding, snowboard, surf, and wake with the old kite there. E-Ride Pro, nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. Hey guys, again, if you appreciate my take on the markets, not necessarily following the typical echo chambers that you see across social media, and, giving my take and just trying to keep level head and trying to keep us grounded here. If you appreciate what I'm doing in these videos, in my Telegram channel, all that sort of stuff, please do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Does a lot for the channel. Make sure that you end up seeing my streams if you like being here with me and all that sort of stuff. So it goes a long way, and I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys being here with me. Honestly, we have over 80 people watching right now. That's absolutely fantastic, you guys. Let's get some pretty colors going. Here we go. So my indicator here, the trend master has a buy signal, but you guys, this is where I mention this quite often, is it's a lower buy signal. So don't have a lot of faith in that. I want to see things trending in the same direction to help me point out which way the market is going to continue trending. So I would love to see a lower sell signal come into play now. We'll keep this up just to see if we get it. AI charting tools, we set a lower low, we drop this higher low, obviously. So yes, that is also a potential bearish setup here. If we pulled a Stuber fib from this lower high signal here, we would have a fib somewhere in there. And the stop loss at break even on the rest of my position is just above that 886. So I like to see that, because I'm hoping that if we do get a bounce here, I want to see us get rejected here. Algo Master. Well, look at that. The Algo Master is actually printing the exact same fib that I have there. So that's great additional confluence there. Love to see that. Looking like a mid-cycle correction. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys, is like Bitcoin is known for doing these large corrections like in previous market cycles and stuff like that. It's just that understand just how bad the signal itself actually looks. So like I wouldn't try me personally, I'm not trying to catch any knives with this, just assuming that the dip has to be bought right back up anytime soon. Because guys, the RSI on the weekly is nowhere close to being oversold. Not even close. So I know it feels like there's been capitulation. The RSI isn't even halfway down its pocket, basically, or down this indicator. Notice last time we had the same type of consolidation. We did find support around the 45 of the RSI. That is where we're getting very close to now. But understand that that's not an oversold territory by any means. It's potential support, but it does not need to be support either. Also, this Wave Master, big overextended reversal warning there. Like I said, high frequency trading bots pushing the downside. Reversal warning on this indicator here. Yeah, there was just a lot of warnings, right? But the thing is, guys, we were ready for this up at like 110K, basically from the all-time highs. I mean, we were ready for this. I was calling for a January 20th correction. And so at this point, if this gets invalidated, I don't care. It's not that I was wrong. I love that this move happened, and if that's all it's got, then so be it. I don't care if my bags recover. That would be fantastic. But the trade account has been loving this price action. The altcoin accounts, not so much, right? So but yeah, guys, like I said, we have been absolutely crushing it in this bearish trend in my private Telegram channel, which is free to join. Scan the QR code or click the link and follow the steps in the description down below if you want access to that. Yeah, like I said, guys, there's some educational content in there, and again, just my thoughts on the market in general. Some of my trade setup ideas, including the trade I'm in during this stream right now, it's all in there. So if that is something that interests you, get in there. You must sign up using my BloFin partner link and deposit at least 300 USDT into your futures account. This is not a payment to me. This is your own money to trade with in your new BloFin account. These ideas that I've been sharing have had absolutely zero to do with FUD, exchange hacks, tariffs, any of that other nonsense. It was all predicted well in advance. Just entirely market structure, you guys. Like I said, well in advance, or back around Christmas, I was already ready for this price action, basically. So if you just want to look at the markets for what they are, I'm not going to be one of the guys to tell you, what's happening fundamentally. But if you like looking at charts and chart structure and Fibonacci pulls and scalping strategies and all that sort of stuff, do yourself a favor, scan that QR code, follow the steps in the description down below. Yeah, hope to see you in there. Other than that, guys, I think that's really about all I wanted to go over in this stream here. Like I said, I don't necessarily, this is the most strength that I've seen from the bulls in a while. I will give credit where credit is due, but just understand we still do have resistance on the way, really, unless we reclaim into this range above 89K. That's where I'll seriously consider that, hey, we're going to go higher up into, the previous range, because, that's where we kind of came from. But as it stands right now, the fact we flipped that support into resistance, we've set a new lower low, confirming a new lower high, trend master indicator showing resistance lining up with that level. I just have a lot of concerns on this trend still. But again, I think it's only a matter of time until there is some sort of a push to the upside to punish those late shorts. But that's where I always say, guys, like the first half of my position is very quick to start updating my position, reducing risk, removing risk, paying myself, all that sort of stuff. Because on the midterm trend, you guys, I'm just like anybody else, where right now it's hard to say what's going to happen. The bulls look strong, but we're at resistance. So take with that what you will. But I will continue to post my updates in the Telegram channel and that sort of stuff. So guys, again, if you appreciated this stream, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here with me. Let me just catch up on the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything before taking off here. Hit the likes, troops. Thank you for that. What tool or how to actually draw the Stuber fib? I do have my, if you go to my Twitter page, I have a Stuber fib video, an educational video that is public. It is pinned to my profile, StuTube Trading, all one word. It's also on the Financial Summits YouTube channel. And yeah, so that's a public video. And if you want access to an even more in-depth video where I really break down the structure, how I recognize ranges and all that sort of stuff, that's only available to the people in my private Telegram channel. So do yourselves a favor if that's something you're interested in, get in there. But what else? Love your content. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, you guys. I love to hear that people are actually taking some value out of this and just, appreciate what I have to say. Love to hear it. Adrian, thanks again for joining, buddy. Talk to you real soon. And everyone else, yeah, I think that's about all I need to go over. So thank you once again. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.